Hey!
Hello.
Hello.
We're back.
We've been gone for a couple weeks, but we are back after a winter holiday with, as you might notice, a little bit more color to the room, a little bit of a different layout.
A little bit of a change going on.
We got some stuff that is physically behind and supporting the cameras, which you can't see, but which is also a nice addition.
It's also very nice for us, and very nice for me, so I don't have to shift around my apartment every single time we do this.
Yeah. Meanwhile, just a little Easter egg for you guys. We're roughly a third of the way through storyboarding a intro crawl right now.
Yes.
We have the music tracks, we aren't done the storyboarding, and then after the storyboarding, then we have editing, and then it should be good to go. So, anyways, aside from that, you guys have some good holidays?
Yeah.
Yes, they were holly and jolly and a real fun romp all around.
And I drove for like 12
and
hours.
Chelsea drove for 12 hours in 4 days.
That's a long time to drive. I slept in a car, and that was it for me, mostly. I helped my parents move furniture around their place, and that's the most I got out of that adventure. Yeah.
My holidays were kind of rough. It happens. They're over. We're good. We're back on track.
Back on track, back on stream, back on our bullshit.
Back on our bullshit.
Yep.
Right back on our bullshit, but not quite where we left off.
Not quite.
Some time has passed, which leaves us a nice little window to refresh people who, in the real world, probably haven't seen this in like a couple weeks.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So, we are just outside the City of Tall Trees. You guys have been here for just a couple of weeks, making some preparations. Your party has reunited with two old allies, Red and Blue. Red is a Volpe, a scientist and an outdoorsman. Blue is an old sort of tottering around wizard in a blue hat and robe. He's a blue wizard, which is an academic classification, basically. It's like he has his PhD in magic.
And he goes only by Doctor.
His real name is Warren Crenshaw. He goes by Blue, but there has already been at least one time on this show where a random other person has gone by that name because it happens to be a really convenient nickname.
Yeah, that's fair.
And, like, I'll say it if I messed up. It wasn't a mess up. It was on purpose. Anyways, you guys are just packing things up. You are going to be leaving tomorrow at dawn to start scoping out new locations. You are... Otherwise, I should change the time of day.
Ooh, yeah, we get to show off the fanciness.
Yeah. You guys have basically packed the last of the things you're going to put away until, like, first thing in the morning. You have a keg of ale, and it is dinner time.
Nice.
Man, that's a good combination.
Keg of ale at dinner time? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm eating. I'm having a good time. Everything's packed away. It's a good feeling before you leave on a trip to have everything ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, Rachel. If they're all like game for cracking the keg, I'll crack the keg.
Yeah, you guys have all gathered here basically for one nice night of relaxation before you hit the road. In things that you now have, otherwise your character sheets are unaffected. You've been paid, you've spent some money, you bought some shit, you ate some food. We're just going to say it's even. Everybody's basically there. You guys, during the period of time you were here, I won't say squatted. Legally it's squatting. But the ethic is different when, like, you're adventurers and you go to kill a bunch of things and you just wait before telling people that you freed up a bit of real estate that was infested. It's a normal thing. But, like, you guys straight up are squatting. You're in a longhouse that was overrun by beasts. You've since cleaned it, and it's still, like, solid and serviceable. It just had deadly things in it, and now it doesn't.
Now it has...
Us.
Arguably more deadly things, because we killed the deadly things.
Almost by definition.
Yeah.
But you guys are different, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
totally.
I mean, we're going to give it back eventually, so, like, got that on him.
They weren't going to give it back.
Well, we didn't really ask. I doubt we tried that sort of diplomatic approach, but
Eldbjorn walks up to you guys. He's ahead of everyone else getting to the keg. He's got an ale, but he's not like walking away with it. He's passing them out, basically. As you guys go, is anybody not drinking?
I'll drink.
yeah, I'm drinking. Might as well. It's
Okay. So you're handed an ale, and an ale, and then he's sort of just passively pouring them out and passing them to people as he's talking to you guys.
Reggie downs his.
As he's filling them, Eldbjorn keeps going. So, we're doing it, aren't we?
Yeah,
All right.
yes, absolutely.
we're doing it.
Yeah.
We still have to figure out a plan, I guess, but I think if there's anything we've learned, it's that having a plan going in doesn't actually help that much.
Well, the more information you have when you make a plan, the better off the plan is.
Corvo walks into the group. Corvo signs to you so you can interpret to the rest of the group. Well, we know the locations of a number of them. All of your old thorns in your side, Boru and Laszlo Roos and Kree, we have their locations. Some of them are more distant. But Laszlo Roos is in Delta. Some of us are wanted there under penalty of death, but less than most of us. And not the entire in-person party.
Looks directly at Chelsea. like pretty much everyone in the room just looks at Nesta.
That being said, other people who are nearby, there's one that you guys haven't met before, a draconian called Lord Vulcan, who is stationed in Last Hearth in preparations to build like a gateway city to the north. There's also Kree, who is in Pine Watch. Back the way you came.
Well, I think it's kind of silly to go with this with a purely emotional directive, but at the same time, I think Kree would be a pretty satisfying head to put in a box.
Yes, but that's not the direction that we're going right now. We would have to double back.
That's true.
Might as well keep going and then kind of do a bit of a circle and head down again. I guess if that works out.
Wait, where were we going before?
Well, we were going to go to Hammerhole.
We were going to.
I don't know where we are right now, but
You guys are in the city of Tall Trees. You don't have any active jobs.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were going to go to Hammerhole,
Yeah.
but
oh yes,
decided bad times in Hammerhole.
bad
Yeah.
times in Hammerhold. I remember now. Okay.
So the funny thing about our circle, we could go one way to do the circle, or we could go the other way to do the circle.
That's true. I guess it doesn't really matter at this point if we're heading back.
Johnstone walks his way into the conversation. Corvo has tottered off. You guys have a lot of time to talk about this throughout the night, so he's sort of just giving
Hopefully that wasn't
space.
something important.
Well, we'll find out in 10 seconds if you can't hear us. So I'm just going to say a lot of words in quick succession with
No,
a
you're
reasonable
probably
amount.
fine.
Okay, we're good. Right, Johnstone walks into the group. You know, some of us could sneak into Hammerhole probably, be less suspicious, like. And, well, Corvo was saying that in the notes, the coronation. Johnstone is kind of having an old man moment, but you're reminded that when you were looking through the notes a few sessions ago with Henny in the library, the king and future king of Hammerhold are both life drinkers. They swap roles, basically son and father, through the decades.
Nice.
That'd just be the funny thing the year that switches over.
Henny would be very particular that these are the High Kings and they are the actual monarchs. The rest of the kingdom works in a sort of dysfunctional mishmash between feudalism and representative democracy of a sort.
Yeah, I explained that kind of pretentiously. So
But it is a coronation, which means you're going to be able to see both of them and get a real good look at their retinue. Plus, if Henny has anybody to see in Hammerhold, now would be the time.
I would like to go back to Hammerhold. It's been a long time. Now,
Johnstone totters off, but Red walks in. You notice Red standing a little bit closer to Elbjorn than most people stand. And sort of just leans a bit and goes, and does like the elbow on a shoulder thing.
Sure.
I do have family there too. We could go.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. One thing I'm thinking is, well, maybe not now, but we are still at large, and they do... Like, I'm wondering if there's some life drinkers out there that wouldn't necessarily be suspecting a sort of attack on their life the same way that Kree or the other affected kingdoms would be.
Well, strictly speaking, a lot of these guys probably expect it by default, if not from us, from other people.
That's true.
Especially like a king. They're almost always expecting an assassination attempt.
Well, my vote is for Hammerhold. Although we can't all sneak in, we might have to split up.
Where was Boru?
Boru is all the way in Redwine Keep, way south.
Yeah, it doesn't matter for Reggie. His main target would be Boru, and like,
yeah,
we
can work his way there. He's too far away.
That being said, you could also just take a real long boat trip. Tall Trees is very close to the coast.
My vote is... Sorry, where's Kree again?
Kree's in Pine Watch. That would be to our south.
And are we allowed in Pine Watch?
Yes.
Well...
Am I allowed in Hammerhold?
Yeah. You don't have any charges against you at home, as far as you know?
It's just when we get south around near Delta, that's where it's bad for you.
Yeah. Under penalty of death.
Yeah. In specific exact terms, because it's been a while, so I should probably make sure they're hashed out. And Chelsea and Red, because they're both in the exact same legal
Red's
position.
Yep. Elbjorn.
Yeah, and Elbjorn. Yeah. All of you would know very well because people want to kill you. There are 3 human kingdoms, Midrun, Westmarch, and Craghold Land, which used to be the Empire, which is what Reggie would probably say first. All the vets always love throwing that in. Depending on their experiences with the war, it's either a suspicious used to be the Empire, or it's more of a like upstanding like used to be the Empire kind of thing. But those are the 3 kingdoms upon which you are exiled upon penalty of death. So they're not going to come for you, but if you step foot on land, then you're forfeit. This makes you nervous because you've stepped foot on land in the furthest one, the one that Redwine Keep is in. Mm-hmm. So, like, they have reason to come for you.
Yeah. But whatever. It is how it is.
Yeah.
All right. You guys sort of relax. The night wears on a little bit.
Ooh. Fancy.
Lights.
Yeah, I mean, just hang out and leave in the morning, I guess.
Yeah. I think we should go to Hammerhold.
Hammerhold?
That's my vote. I'm putting my hat in the ring. My metaphorical hat. I don't own a hat.
Well, it would be nice to see what was in those packages, assuming someone else has picked up the package for delivery. And the only possibility would be traveling to Hammerhold for that.
I forget what's going on in Hammerhold that...
Well, like...
It used to be that you guys were planning to go there for a very long time.
Yeah.
That being said, at the last moment, Red and Blue, who were the people you were planning on meeting, had to flee towards this location you're in right now, outside of Tall Trees. Just because, like, they had been discovered. Yeah. It's not that they can't go there, it's just that should keep quiet and don't build a base there kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you guys couldn't camp there, but you could like go up to Hammerhold and observe the coronation and then leave for your next location. But you wouldn't want to stick around.
Okay, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kill the kings, leave.
Well,
hopefully kill the kings. We can see what we can do with the kings.
I don't think we could.
It would take
it as a joke.
It would take a pretty big, large plan to kill a king, and I think that the earliest we start gathering information on that the more beneficial it is to us.
Bea sidles up alongside you and sort of like leans on you a bit. You're wrong, but also you're right.
I usually am both of those things simultaneously.
Because the truth is, you can just walk up to them and blow and they're dead. Is just after.
Yeah.
Right. The escape plan is...
It's really the next, like, couple of minutes after that. That's the important part.
Yeah.
Your beers are finished.
Reggie drank his second beer a lot slower. Chug the first and nurse the second.
Yeah.
Just like babies.
Yeah.
What?
What? So,
Chug.
It's a baby just breastfeeding.
Baby's like upside down for a cake stand.
still got it, folks.
Quality jokes here, folks.
Yes.
Quality.
Okay, I think, heading up to Hammerhold and watching the coordination is a good idea.
Yes, I agree.
And then we could head back down or decide what we want to do.
Looking over your maps, if you did want to go to Pine Watch or Last Hearth, you could go kind of like ping pong. If you wanted to go to Delta, you would have to go like to Hammerhold and then back to Tall Trees and then go to Delta.
Okay.
Leader.
I can't think of the map in my head. So like,
ooh,
Pull up the map.
okay, where are we? We're not in Pine Watch.
No,
We're north.
that's just
Okay.
where we ended up last when we ended it. But we are further north in Tall Trees, and I turned this off because it was.
It's probably going to be better if you just go to the world map and use the pin for that.
Oh, but that takes a second because it has to turn off literally every other map that we have. And it might not turn off. There we go.
All right.
So the pin that we had was right around here.
Yeah, you see the darker green above that? It's kind of in the armpit.
Oh, okay.
That's a little higher, like right in the crook of it is where Tall Trees is.
Gotcha.
And then Hammerhold is
Over here.
more or less like north of you into the mountains a good ways.
Okay, yeah.
The place you're circling is closer to where Last Hearth is.
Last right would be around here.
Yeah. And then Pine Watch would be back the way you came, the way the marker originally was.
Right around here.
Yeah. The last place is Delta, which is at the top of that long river.
You know, the Delta.
Okay. So should we do? And Last Hearth, do we have anything in that? Like, do we have a target in there?
Yeah, not someone you've met before, a stranger, Lord Vulcan.
Okay, so why don't we do... So, Hammerhold, Last Hearth, down to Delta, Pine Watch. Would that make sense?
So up to Hammerhole, then across to
Last Hearth.
and then down to Delta.
And then...
Across
Pine
to
Watch.
Pine Watch.
Or maybe Hammerhold, Last Hearth, Pine Watch, Delta.
So
Because then we're doing like a...
We do like a weird Bermuda Triangle.
Blue's the one who chimes in. Either way, we probably shouldn't be thinking too far in advance.
That's true.
Our individual targets will be a handful in themselves.
Okay. Yeah, let's go to Hammerhold, see what's going on, and then tell Last Hearth.
Okay.
I think.
All right. The night wears on, and by now it's getting pretty late. Are you guys going to stay up drinking a little while longer, or are you heading off to bed?
Heading off to bed, I think.
Reggie stays up for a little while.
Yeah, Kenny's going to stay up and do some reading.
All right. As the night wears on, it's just Red, Elbjorn, Henny, Bea, and Reggie who are still awake. It's quiet. You guys are all reasonably sloshed at this point.
That's good. Moderate level of sloshing.
Anything else going on at night, or are you guys going to bed now?
Are we taking... We're in a city, like a little town, eh? Like there's no need for a watch?
You are in a longhouse in a hamlet outside of Tall Trees.
Right.
Tall Trees is the city, but you're really close to it.
Okay, well, I'll take first watch then. Just in case anyone.
Honestly, at this point, it is first watch.
Well, if you guys want to head to bed, I'll take first watch.
Okay.
Well, are we still doing the 2 people watches?
You don't need to when you're in the base.
Oh, fair enough. So I'll go to bed then.
All right. You guys all head off to bed. Henny stays up a little longer for the first watch. Meanwhile, switch to them other character sheets.
Switch.
This is actually my first time I'm looking at these other character sheets.
I've looked at it.
Yeah, they're a little bit stripped down just because they're kind of temporary, just for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I now see why I'm doing this.
Oh, I forgot that he has 2 pairs of hands. Shit.
Yeah. Unlike someone like Garth, who has multiple weapons that he can't be holding all at once, Chet has
many hands.
2 rapiers, a stiletto, and a buckler, and does fight with all of them at once.
Okay, you have to have the other hands, Chelsea.
You have to finish the other hands for your cute uwu boy.
Yes.
I love that you gave him the fucking like muscle arm pose. It's beautiful.
That's supposed to be doing.
Okay.
So you guys are 1 day's travel out of Pine Watch. You have been hired by someone who goes by a pseudonym. It's not the first time you've worked for someone with a pseudonym for most of you guys. This one just goes by Dreadnought. Very deep voice, doesn't say a lot of words. Dwarf-born in thick, like head-to-toe full plate. You're also working with someone else who goes by a pseudonym, a human by the name of Marquis.
Marquis.
Okay.
He's traveling with us?
She. Yeah.
She. Okay.
You guys have been traveling since Garrison, but even then you haven't really gotten close.
Do we have a wagon?
No.
Oof.
You have been hired at pay of 5 silver a day to hunt down the party that didn't hire you. It's noon. Who's on watch?
I'll be on first watch.
Actually, I think I would like to be on first watch.
Okay. Sure.
Awesome. Don't worry, guys. I got this.
Yeah, I think he'll do a great job.
Yeah, absolutely I will.
Renowned local Chad by the name of Chet Baker. Everyone.
Should we say who we are playing that we left behind?
Yeah, let's go over it.
Of the party. So, Chet Baker.
Chet Baker.
Bun Boy.
Bun Boy.
With
Mr. Chad.
Oh, and he got the buns.
Oh, and
He's
he
got the buns.
got the buns. Oh, yeah. He thick in all the right ways.
To summarize, Chet Baker is very physically attractive. Period. End of sentence. That's all he got.
I'm just gonna sneak. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
Is it ready for the top down? Is your creation?
Oh wait,
ready?
I haven't finished his arm yet.
Gotta finish that. That thick
I'm
flex.
looking forward to Gabe's artwork on the top.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought he looked like this.
I like to think it's because we were discussing the Beatles before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's get him on the top down. Let's get him on the top down on this.
Well, we got to do them in order.
Okay, fine.
We'll go over it quick. So
yeah. So
so I'm playing Garth. I actually can't read what you've written here as a self-descriptor, but it looks like Skulker.
Yeah, Skulker.
Skulker, yes, that makes sense. Skulker.
I do not resent you for not being able to read my absolute wizard scrawl.
Well, it's just a K look like an R, which is what is really messing me up. He's perfectly trustworthy, and you should probably not pay him any attention. He's fine. He's good. You listen to him and believe him, and that'd be great. It'd be fine.
And he has a very nice coin purse now.
And he has a very nice coin purse now, belonging to Henny, that he stole by Skullduggery. He's kind of
He
an
borrowed
asshole.
it.
He borrowed it. He's a piece of shit. Yeah.
All right, let's put it on the top.
Let's see. Is that...
You're probably gonna have to hold it a little bit closer.
Whoa. There we go. Okay, I was just figuring out which way. Yeah, there we go.
So it looks kind of like a coke addict not Elton John, fucking John Lennon.
John Lennon. Yeah, it looks like if John Lennon was a sleazebag and did a lot of methamphetamines.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was Will was sort of anticipating or imagining him to look like.
Honestly, it was more that he's like a blonde dude, very scruffy, thick beard, doesn't keep his shit together kind of thing. He doesn't look like he's actively dying or like in the throes of heavy drug use.
Well,
he really does look like he's
Man, he did not take Henny's rejection well at all.
No, he's really let himself go.
And last but not least, we have...
I don't have artwork drawn for Milton.
Oh, I gotta show art.
Okay. Let's
but he does look like a John Lennon, like nearly at the end of his life, but also kind of on meth.
So we have Bun Boy.
Bun Boy.
Ultimate, I like the 6-pack.
Yep.
I like the muscle pose. It's beautiful. Everything about Bun Boy is beautiful.
Bun Boy is very fun.
Yeah.
And I don't have artwork because I can't draw, but just imagine.
Give your page to Gabe and he'll draw it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and there's what Will wants, what he looks like, and what
just
we are
draw
making
the happiest boy in the world.
Is he
I
confident?
say this, you know the feeling of melancholy, a unique blend of happiness and sadness? It is with a unique blend of excitement and dread that I say, tabletop role-playing is a collaborative storytelling experience. If y'all gonna collaborate, there's a certain amount that I can fight back against, but there's a point where I have to go along with it.
So Milton is a very optimistic rat folk. He's not the greatest adventurer, but boy does he have heart. And he is hunting down the rest of the party because he has to.
Did I actually give Milton any skills? I'm realizing I might not have.
No!
Okay, Milton does have skills. So remind me to give Milton skills.
I will.
But as you doodle, it is noon and Chet's on watch.
Chet's on watch. I got this, guys. I got this. Yeah. It's going great.
For me.
It's going great.
Do the thing. The cards.
Doing the cards.
Like we did last game, you're going to start with one in your hand and draw one and pick which one happens. You guys are just outside of Pine Watch, so it's what the party would have seen a little while back, but not on camera. There's a lot of conifers around here, sort of tightly packed. They're giving way as you get closer to deciduous trees.
That one.
You're at the head of the group when you see that there's a bandit that looks like he's rushing to ambush you. You quickly finish him off and stab a couple people before they can close in on you.
Oh, guys! Oh, man! Did you see that? Like, he was like totally,
corpse.
he was totally coming for us. Man, don't worry though. I dealt with it. Mm-hmm. I dealt with it.
Good job. Nicely done.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Tense, long stare.
Did you see that, boy?
All right. Who's on watch next? It is the... Sorry, it wouldn't have been noon. It would have been the... Now it's the early afternoon.
I guess I'll take it.
All right. Let me know what you draw. You've
4 diamonds or 4 of hearts? 4 of hearts. Fuck it.
All right.
Live dangerously.
You are walking along the road when You see that there's a... what was I going to say? There's a rabbit that's just frozen in shock like a meter away from you.
Oh. Is it like in the middle of the road that we'd be traveling down?
Yep. It's just a normal rabbit.
Okay.
If anything, it's not a normal rabbit. It's a juicy one. You could, like, it's got a lot of meat on it, actually. It's nice and mature. I think your character sheet is still hostage, but what
I
skills
have a
are...
sword. I know I have a sword.
I've kind of ruined him. I don't think that's how anyone wanted him to look.
Oh, that's how I want him to look. That is so how I want him to look.
I don't know why I gave him a fez.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
So good. He's so happy.
He's happy. He's got his fez and a mustache, and also a cape.
Shit, I just realized that it kind of makes a little bit of sense lore-wise for him to actually be wearing a fez.
There you go.
Can I grab that to give you some skills real quick?
Yeah, it would take some skills, and I'll slaughter Bun if I can.
Well, sorry, Bun. I didn't learn anything. I have no skills or talents.
I'm gonna try and hunt Bun.
Huh.
Like, I know this bunny is gonna run away the moment I start getting close. It's frozen in fear, but that won't last once I'm like cowering over it.
All right.
No.
Now you have
I'm
a skill set.
Towering.
Was this your pencil?
Yes. I think, no. There's pencils everywhere.
So you're going to kill it?
Yes.
Roll Grace.
That would be 5, and that would be 9.
9?
9.
All right. You rush at it. It dodges your first hit, but you manage to catch it with your free hand by the ears. You end it quickly enough. You have to prepare it, but you now have 3 days worth of rations.
Woo! Nice going, man. Look at you go.
Hold up the button, just yeah. And
Look
then realize
at you
that blood's
go.
dripping on him and go, ah!
And I turn to someone next to me like, what did you see?
Yes, I saw it.
Man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, he got the bunny.
Yeah.
So, who's on watch next?
I'll be on watch.
All right. It's the late afternoon when you're ahead of the group. You cross what looks like an old campsite. You bring people in close. You start scouting it out because this is kind of why you were hired on. Looks like the right number of people. Looks like they left the right amount of time ago. But you notice that there's a couple of tracks that head off into the woods.
The human tracks?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not sure if they're human. Like, they're in boots, so it's a little rough. And it's been a few days, so you really just know size. Someone big and someone mid-size.
And the rest of these people just left?
It looks like the tracks go somewhere and back. They didn't just leave. They left like 2 days ago.
And there's tracks going out into the woods and the tracks come back. So they're not still out in the woods.
Roll ritual.
Hiya! 1.
You take out... You know when you just, like, you do something, like you take out your phone or something, and then you just realize that you just did something out of muscle memory and don't know why, and think nothing of it, and put it back in your pocket?
Yes.
The same thing happens with Henny's coin purse, and then you put it back in your wallet. You think nothing. You put it back in your pocket and think nothing of it.
Huh. Well, looks like they went on in another direction, and we should probably keep moving.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 At this point, you see that the guy who hired you, the Dwarfborn in full plate, turns towards you, just like locks his head almost like that, and goes, "We're searching every single moment, every single second, every..."
I volunteer to go into the forest.
He sort of pauses and seems to regain his composure and goes, "Good. No nook or cranny unsearched."
No nook or cranny unsearched? You got it.
Milton walks away with the...
I'll go with you. Man, it seems like a great time. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, there seems to be some nooks and crannies around here that need searching, so I'll do that.
All right. Roll understand.
5.
5. You're pretty sure that this dreadnought dude has just started cleaning a knife. He turned away from you, but for a second you swear it was a screwdriver.
Huh. That's weird. And I push it to the back of my brain. We gotta find these assholes.
All right. You keep searching around the camp, but it looks like they were pretty fastidious in picking things up. If anything, you only knew because you're looking for a party of this size. You had to dig up a shallow buried campfire. Someone went out of their way to try to hide these traces, but 15 people is a lot of people to hide. Meanwhile, you two went down the path, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You go there a little ways before you see that it looks like a freshly put together mound of earth.
Man, look at that.
That's a little bit strange.
What do you think that is?
A big hunk of earth.
Obviously, man.
Like, I don't... can I roll... science?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so that'd be 11.
Okay. You give it a once over. Something's buried here. Something smallish.
Well, they probably buried something.
Probably buried something. That's what I was thinking too.
Fuck.
The chat energy is so much. And so Milton just kind of goes, yep, alright.
Alright, you dust aside some earth when you see that it looks like it's a box with a chain around it. It's padlocked shut, but yeah, you can fuck this padlock up.
Don't worry, man. I got this.
Alright.
And I...
Roll delicate.
Delicate. 5.
5. You kind of just jam your stiletto into the lock a bit, and like you stay there like aggressively for like a minute while Milton is just like just
can I, just
until finally
you flick it around a little.
Finally you go, I think I've loosened it, but I think
I think I've loosened it, but like I'll let you finish it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Want to roll delicate?
Yeah.
With +5.
So that would be 13.
18? Oh.
That would be
22.
13 plus 4 plus 5. So that would be
22?
22, yes.
All right.
Yeah, I do math.
You go into your back pocket and you take out your tooth sharpener. It's basically just like a thin like metal rod that's like a file at the end. You spin it around to the other end that you've made a little thinner on purpose, and you just go rake, pressure, rake, clunk, and you open it up. Like 10 seconds flat. After getting the chain off and opening the chest itself, you see that there's 2 masks in there. You recognize them. It's an owl mask and a wolf mask.
I'll definitely be interested to see this.
Would I recognize them?
Yep, these were Henny's masks. You wouldn't recognize the owl one, but I think she had the wolf.
She had the wolf one on, yeah.
Wolf mask. Hey, that was one of those the girl from that party.
Henny, yeah.
Yeah, she had this mask. And I, bet the other one belongs to her as well.
It does seem to be the right size, yeah.
Man.
Both of you guys, actually. Would you be willing to roll ritual?
6?
5.
You fixate a little bit on the masks longer than you should. You find... when you're, kind of distracted and you're, and you, forget to breathe for a quarter second?
Mm-hmm.
That happens. There's something caught in your throat, but you push it to the back of your mind like it didn't even happen and take the masks.
Okay. Yeah, let's go bring these to the rest of them. See what they think.
All right. You guys take the box back. You just for convenience, right? Go back along the path, encounter Garth there, and then get to the rest of the party. When you present the masks to the one in plate, you see that he looks them over for a second, and then he takes them, puts them in front of his face, takes the other one, does the same thing. Who found this?
I did.
Good.
Just just before he says I did, he's like,
We continue on.
Whew, real charismatic man, that one.
I know. Dwarf guy, am I right?
Alright, you guys continue on. You don't expect to be traveling much longer, but in a few hours you'll be heading to bed.
Okay.
Meanwhile, well, I guess not meanwhile. By now I've blown it. It's a little while back, a few days afterwards. You guys have awoken after a night's not excessive, but higher level drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of you were irresponsible, but there was a commitment involved. It is. I love this so much. This is my favorite gimmick, right away.
It's very fun.
It's done.
I'm just glad we found a way to make it work.
Yes.
Because we spent actually hours trying to figure out ways for that to work.
Okay, let's get on the road.
On the road again.
All right. You guys sort of kick off, get the last of your things into your saddlebags and the back of the wagons and head off onto the road. Who's on first watch? It's currently dawn.
Oh.
That would be Henny and Reg.
Yeah.
Whew, all right.
Who's taking the card?
I'll take it. Oh, okay. You want to take it? 4.
Keep in mind you should have one in your hand.
Oh, I was really hoping you were going to get the 4 of spades or the 4 of clubs and just be the exact counter to me.
No, I'm going with this one.
All right, Jack of Hearts. You're ahead of the group. You've left behind to just ride on your own horse a little ways. And here, as you're heading off from Tall Trees towards Hammerhold, it's a familiar sight. You've gone up and down this road many times between jurisdictions. And there's a rush of nostalgia. You remember coming back here, swelling with pride, bringing all kinds of different cases home after finally getting warrants approved. It's a very nerdy kind of pride at very specific things that other people would not consider even remotely interesting.
I don't know what's genuinely causing the disconnect, and it's making me annoyed.
It's probably one of the 35 USBs you have plugged in. Is a little
Shut
worse.
up about all my USBs. I'm just gonna double check them.
I gotta side with Ken, though. We need the USBs.
Hey,
Need
man.
more USBs.
They're universal cereal buses. Jesus.
Man, I playing Chet. It's pretty fun so far. It's kind of like...
It's fun to be the worst.
I just figured you would have the most fun with that. That's why I suggested it earlier. I was just like, it just seemed perfect.
Yeah.
Go from character who absolutely loathes him to just him.
Well, and then on top of that, getting the roleplay prompt. By the way, you are supposed to be loathed.
Yeah.
It just opens up so much freedom.
All right. Let's roll some dice. Get onto those maps.
Right. Map. Oh, crap. Which map were we on?
Wait. F4?
F4, yeah. Because I don't have F3. I need to remember to load that up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No. So then it wasn't this one. It should be E4. Yep, there we go. So if you go northwest from Tall Trees, and then just away from that village, that first turnoff, you're the next hamlet.
So we go northwest.
Sorry, northeast.
Northeast. Yeah.
And like down a little ways on the road.
Oh.
That being said, you make solid progress, so you make it to the village at the intersection. By now, it is early morning.
Is there an intersection? What intersection are you talking about? This village? Okay.
Yeah, right there. Right on the money.
Ding, ding, ding.
So who's on watch next? It's a mystery.
Okay, so you guys were Dawn.
Yes.
So I guess by that it'd be you and Albiorn?
Yeah, me and Albiorn. I think
right.
we'll be doing. Because if it's 4 of us, then you guys will also be included. Like, you'll be like the side guards or whatever.
So, yeah, who's taking the hit? You or Albiorn?
I will.
All right, draw a card.
I assume it's this cable, because it's literally the only thing that moves at all, because I am able to jostle it.
That's worrying because it's audio.
Yeah, but we haven't lost audio, so we're good.
Boom.
Which one's it gonna be? Which one's it gonna be? Which one of the 2 fabulous cards at your avail is it gonna be?
I think I'll take this one. Because I want to save this one.
All right, Jack of Spades it is.
Yeah.
So you're ahead of the group when you see that there's a couple of bandits coming towards you. With your expert understand, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you almost instantly deduce that these are not professionals, that they are desperate locals. They're getting ready for you like an ambush, but honestly, by now you're better at ambushes than they are, and they really just kind of ran out of the woods fast in front of you.
Okay. I'm like, do you guys want some coin or something rather than attacking us? Like, I can give you something. Need some food or...
They kind of seem off kilter. They're like, yeah, give us all... You know that he's about to say, give us all your money, but he just stops mid-sentence as the rest of, like, the armed caravan slowly comes towards you guys.
Vesta, who are these guys?
Just some locals. And I guess I would have... Although I don't have my character sheet on me. I'll give them, like, a couple silver.
They were already, like, putting away their weapons and backing away, but when you offer up the money, they go, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you guys looking for work?
Yeah, They sort of look at the weapons that they've sheathed, and they go, we're farmers up the road. Bad crop.
Well, have you ever heard... How are you on conspiracies?
Roll understand.
I have 2 on understand, but 0 on social.
Wow.
11.
Right. What did you say to trigger that check again?
Right. How are you on conspiracies? What's your stance on conspiracies?
They seem to be like, oh, we know things about conspiracies, but the look that they trade is kind of like an, ooh boy.
Well, we're sort of, now this is a secret, but we are building up sort of a resistance force against some particular unsavory individuals with, some specific characteristics that are not known by the public.
I think Vesta's gonna kind of stop you there and be like, it's a big secret. It's kind of like a top secret sort of situation, and like, don't worry about it, guys. And like, kind of like let them have it out here.
They smile and go, right, we're no secret agents.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your kindness.
Yeah.
And they head off back into the woods.
Yeah.
Well, we're never gonna get our ranks up with
Farmers who are starving?
I guess you're right. They would not last long, would they?
No.
No, you're right. I got ahead of myself. Thank you.
Edelbald is nearby, and he goes, I mean, we did just refuse to hire someone more qualified than them. So.
Well, that's true. That is true. Although that wasn't my decision, and I stared directly at Vesta.
Vesta looks at you like, what? Like, you mean that guy that stole your wallet?
I don't want to talk
That
about
was a little bit of a bad judgment call on that.
Okay, so yes, maybe Gorth or whoever he wasn't the best hiring decision, but I mean, we're kind of in a war here.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll figure it out.
Okay, if you say so.
Right. It was early morning, late morning? Late morning. It would be late morning now.
Ooh. Ooh.
All right. You guys make it a decent way further up the road. You don't need to put it down. We're going to be jumping.
And from that, we're on the main map.
Yeah.
We're going up north, eh?
I believe we don't actually have the map sector loaded that has Hammerhold on it, so either way, the point is you guys head further up the road. Meanwhile, you guys are kind of tired, but
I love this drawing so much. It makes me smile every time I look at it.
you guys are pretty tired because by now it's already like the late night. It's not yet the witching hour, so it's not like the middle of the fucking night, but you guys got here right at dusk and have been searching the place since for tracks. It looks like it's a longhouse, and it looks like they were here just a couple days ago. You wouldn't be able to know exactly how much because there isn't like a fire or any food scraps or anything.
Reggie doesn't leave food scraps. No.
The fat one doesn't leave food scraps.
Which one was the fat one?
He's big. You don't pay attention much, do you?
Well, I don't think any of them were particularly fat. Like,
don't worry, man. I know what
there
you're
was
talking
Reggie,
about.
and he's a Tortugan. I wouldn't necessarily call him fat. He certainly can haul that shell around.
At this point, you see that
And I walk away.
as you guys are sort of like walking around the room, you see that Marquis and Dreadnought are both sort of standing in the middle of the room. Marquis sort of like looking at it like the way you would when you're searching when you want to get a good grand scale before you look at details. But Dreadnought is just standing dead still looking at one corner of the room. You don't know what he's looking at. But you all hear him because his voice kind of echoes along the entire length of the building. The two are here. The fox and the blood trader.
Yeah, boss. Every nook and cranny, you got it. And I start sort of half-heartedly looking underneath the table and chairs and
kicking things around. Milton's looking for something.
Can I roll can I do an understand?
Yeah, go for it.
$15.
15. So, how is Chet looking around for the understand? Something's
No,
gonna
like I
dawn-
want to understand what that guy said. Like,
Oh,
what does he
okay.
mean by that? It's a social understand.
It does definitely sound like it was kind of garbled word salad a little bit, but you gather that there's people that have joined the party, maybe? You know that Blood Trader is not common. People don't say that. If anything, it's like a really archaic word. It's a very old one.
Okay.
That being said, the fox, you presume, is a Volpe. Anybody else searching with any other skills?
I don't really have any searching skills.
What would I need to roll to just search for something that I think looks important?
Good question.
Would that be a social understand to know what would be important, or a mental politics?
Not politics, really, in this context. I'm going to say that you just do some superficial searching around. It looks like 15 of the beds were used. There's room for 20, and the rest of them have a lot more dust on them. A few of them have kind of like dust sort of indents, as if like people put like boxes there for a long period of time and then took them off.
Okay.
You do remember that it was 13 for a while.
So yeah, the 13 became 15 with the two that he said.
Yeah, man.
Well, if they got more people, that just makes them easier to track.
Is Garth using any skills to search?
Garth. Yeah, I mean, Garth, he's just kind of... They're not here, you know, and he can't really stab them if they're not here. He doesn't really think there's much to be gained from looking at the beds they slept in. He's just taking kind of a passive... Like you know when you're working, but you're not, but your boss needs to think you're working.
Yeah, you keep up appearances.
He's keeping up appearances, which I guess would be a deceive roll.
Yeah, go for it.
Which is, let's see, that's 17 plus 2 is a 19.
19. Perfect. So you are doing, like, you're trying to look like you're searching. So genuinely, you're just like picking up things that are like colorful or weird looking and looking at them intently as if they mean something. When you accidentally pick something up of importance,
God damn it, Will.
you see what looks like a tiny shred of torn fabric with a lot of like loose, shredded off like thread. It's a distinctive bright blue.
I'm going to give it just a little bit of a cursory chew to see if I can detect this taste. If I remember how these weirdos smelled.
This one's new. Incense. It's rich people fabric.
Ugh, rich people fabric. Hey, boss.
The moment that you say, hey, boss, in a move that surprises you of all people, almost like he was there the whole time, He reaches over your shoulder and takes it. He just looks at it dead center and goes, "Blood traitor." He's wearing like a Barbuda helm, so it's like a sort of like a Y-ish T thing with eyes and then a front thing. From that, with his hand right there, there's just a billow of flame that engulfs the entire thing. He puts his hand down.
I take it you know this guy.
This is sufficient. We may sleep.
I walk away.
All right. So, meanwhile, it is the early afternoon when you guys get through the gates into Hammerhold. Who would have all gone in? Because you guys only really need to be here for like 2 hours.
Vesta would go in.
I'm going in, and I'm taking Bea with me.
All right.
Now, so Bea, this is kind of, you know, where I grew up. But more importantly, I feel really like I don't have my masks anymore, and I sort of feel that my head is a little naked. There's a place that sells sort of, you know, accessories and hats, and I'm not really good with that sort of thing, but you know your way around a shop. Maybe you could help me, you know, really quick while we're in the neighborhood find.
Yeah, what you want?
That's just like a cool hat. Like you got a really cool hat.
Want a cowboy hat?
Yeah, I mean, if you think I could pull it off,
It'd be hard to find, but I mean, it is the capital. I could probably find something.
let's do it. And I grab her hand, and we'll meet you at the coronation.
All right.
And we'll have to find a cowboy hat.
Conveniently, it's a fucking coronation, so this town is full of people. If anything, it's almost like you're trying to swim against a current to get anywhere. It took you a lot of time to get through those gates, but you are here. Did you hear what was going down?
Yes.
Okay. So, big fancy coronation. Meanwhile, other people who have gone with you. Almost everyone else is leaving. Blue and Red both definitely aren't going in.
Yeah.
Elbjorn wants to see it, and Johnstone wants to see it.
Okay.
Reggie wants to kill.
Excuse me?
No, Reggie would not be happy with the whole Empire coronation thing. I don't think Reggie would want to see it very much.
Yeah. Okay. Vesta's all business. Gets into the city. He's like, okay, let's go. Let's go find where we're sitting, where we're watching.
All right. It quickly becomes apparent that, like, Bea and Henny are off to do some gay shit.
Yeah.
So you just kind of go, all right. Elbjorn goes with you, though, as does Johnstone, as you guys go to sort of scope out good spots.
Mm-hmm.
You manage to get a place that's just right. You're here like 2 hours before you need to be, and you need to be here an hour before you need to be, which means you're an hour in advance. So you've got a spot where you could kind of like tuck away if you don't want to be looked at by the people like walking in the parade, but you still have a good view. Okay. Meanwhile, Henny and Bea make their way to the market.
Yeah, that shop there, they're not doing super great. I've seen their books. This one, though, whew, you know, you can cut a lot of costs when you employ less than legal labor.
You suddenly chuckle when you realize that you have reached a street that you've probably walked down 6 times in your life. Back when you worked with the office, they used to call it Tax Evasion Avenue because you can go and look at the businesses and go, tax evasion, tax evasion, tax evasion, tax evasion, tax evasion, tax evasion.
Oh, I explained this.
If Salus were still here, he would probably know Tax Evasion Street too.
Actually, I get a little bit sad thinking about that. Man, I miss him.
Poor Salus. Dead. Being dead and stuff.
Says sister of Salus.
Right. Hats. And there's a hat place that I've never actually been in.
Yeah. You walk into the haberdashery.
Oh, that's fun.
From here, Bea sort of lets you pick out the hat, but is clearly like eyeing the stock, trying to get a peek at the back room, like looking at the wood that the place is made of. You visibly see her like checking the paint on the walls and stuff. What kind of hat does Henny pick up?
Like a smart cowboy hat. You know, you have big fancy cowboy hats.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like it's a real smart, not quite subtle, but like just it's kind of a smallish brim and sharp angles.
You pick it up and put it on. There's sort of a wonky mirror here that you're able to look in. Not that it's especially wonky, it's just that this is not a time in technology that mirrors are non-wonky.
Sure.
You think you get a good look, and you think it's okay, but then you start to realize that it's kind of got more of a bowler hat feel.
Okay, not that one.
Benny.
Benny! It's been so long!
Benny and the Jets.
As you take this hat off, you feel another hat being put on you. As you look in the mirror, you see that Bea's just sort of like looking at you with a goofy look on your face. It's like a bright pink, like feathered, super wide, like... Actually, you're sitting there like looking at why this hat's hilarious, and it slowly dawns on you that it's just a pink version of Reggie's hat.
Holy shit.
Like, it's got this ridiculous brim. The top's just like this felty nub. It's got this super long plume on it.
Man, I go to feel and the plume is sewn. Yeah, no, that's just... I always thought he found that ridiculous feather and put it in, but no, the hat came like this. Holy shit. Okay, well, definitely not that one.
All right. You're looking around for a similar one. You find the exact perfect style you need, and it's the right size for your head, but it's black.
Black. I mean, I look down at what I'm wearing, and it's like a black robe. I kind of feel like branching out, you know?
Bea walks up to you. She wears, like, all black leather and black denim and black cloth with a black cowboy hat and goes, "No, I feel you."
Oh, man. I go to the person running the store. Do you have this in maybe a lighter color?
The storekeeper looks at it and goes, I'm not sure. The shipment's going to be a while now. It's at that moment that you go, that Bea, leans in and, puts an arm around you and goes, "So it's going to be a while, but does that mean it's not in?" At this point, the storekeeper goes, "Well, yeah, I guess there's..." And then Bea goes, "Limited stock, but it's in stock. It's not out of stock. Is it on hold?" The storekeeper begrudgingly goes, "It's not on hold." And Bea looks at you and goes, "The entire selection of the exact same hat in all its colors?" Yeah.
Yeah.
And the storekeeper sort of walks back around the corner.
You're the best.
They had it in stock. At this point, the storekeeper comes back with... They're the same hat, so they're stackable.
Yeah.
And, yep, a couple of them, they go from, there's a white one, a beige one. There's two slightly different, they were slightly warped from being in a stack.
Sure.
Dark sort of beige ones. There's sort of a gray-brown. There's the black you had before, and then there's one that has almost a reddish hue.
Oh, the red one. Oh, because it matches my fur. I'm going with the red one.
Actually, if anything, it's more you're an orange, and this one's a burgundy.
Yeah. It's a nice palette. All right. Well, I paid... I don't have my sheet with me, but I paid the shopkeep.
No, you don't.
Oh.
Bea hands you the hat. You see her sort of lean over, and you know that this hat was a gold, but you see Bea hand over 2 gold, and it's just "Sorry for being a dick."
Oh, and I put on my hat, and I have a big smile. Thank you.
She holds out a hand.
And I take it.
All right. So you, Johnstone, and Eldorn are there as Henny and Bea return from their gay shit.
New hat.
You noticed. Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's a hat. I don't have my masks anymore.
Looks so cool.
Thanks.
There's a patrol of guards that start coming down the street to clear off anybody who's still walking down it. They're giving people notice, but not getting people to move. Won't be too long before like the prep for the prep is happening.
Mm-hmm.
People are really starting to flood in.
I just really enjoy. I've dated 2 NPCs in this, and none of them remotely close to that. The second one, to be fair, was 100% me. And me telling you to be terrible. But the first one is on you.
You're right. This isn't fair. I have been, like, emotionally horrific to you twice, and I'm being cute with Gabe.
Oh, well, he could still do something horrible.
Yeah, that's true. Like, maybe he's setting you up for an even bigger fall than I ever had.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because Henny is precariously not as paranoid as she used to be, and is trusting the world. And, that could go horribly
easily
wrong.
devastate.
Yeah, it could very easily go catastrophically wrong.
Okay, I'll forgive you, Will.
For now.
For now.
As you guys are sort of chatting, you start to notice, well, what you were here for really is just sort of eyes. On the roofs of the buildings, this is Hammerhold, so it's like old dwarven construction. A lot of it is old and original, but a significant amount of it is built to look the same. There's a lot of different nooks and crannies and little crenulations and basically sniping positions. For like probably a good half hour before the coronation parade is set to start, there are people on this, like, who are trying to get eyes on the situation. Shortly thereafter comes the guard through a second time, getting people to go behind the barricades now and not going across. It's a huge amount of them, like hundreds it looks like, but you see that that's on purpose because as they go down the parade length, they're dropping guards periodically along each length.
Yep, it's the same way they do it every year.
Roll politics.
They have a coronation every year.
No.
Well, I mean, they have the annual, the address of the monarch, and I got those politics? 22.
22. You see that around these guards' armbands are like a way of denoting rank. Well, like your tabard shows color. These guys have red armbands with 3 gold stripes. They aren't like elites. There aren't that many elites like in the world, but these are the highest trained guards that the city usually employs.
That's pretty usual for a coronation, though, eh?
Yeah.
Can I roll military tactics to find out anything about this, like blind spots, like numbers, just general ideas for if we were planning something in the future? Not saying that we are, but
we are.
Well, not right now, clearly.
They don't need to know that.
Don't talk too loudly.
Okay, yeah. I don't know why I looked up my mental stat. I know it's 0. 15.
Hope is why.
Hope that he'll get smarter.
You scan the area. You're familiar with how this goes. You want to clear out a location before something important goes through. You note that they are leaving guards behind, but based on the number of guards, you expect that a significant amount are in retinue. A city like this, especially for a coordination, has more. From here, looking at the positions, it looks like it's all about getting coverage. It's not about getting a large number of guns. So really, there might be one shot on you at any given time.
Okay.
That being said, this is significantly above normal security. This is the absolute peak, because not only is it an extremely important event, but it's also something where you want to do like a show patrol for your troops and your like military and guard. So they're on their best behavior, they're showy, they're trying to show you exactly how strong they are, and twice as much just for the sake of big dick energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which, in the case of the leader of a large nation, it happens to be a very large dick of energy.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's important. You only get coronated so often, but like...
At this point, you start to hear the music in the distance. You guys didn't manage to get the whole way to the coronation itself. Almost nobody really is going to get in there. But that's not the place you want to be. This is what's more tactically important for you guys. So it's not long before you guys are early along in the parade. And they start coming. It seems like the first rank is all of the, like, elite military personnel. Now that the armbands were pointed out by Henny, you can recognize them as well. And really, it's the military. If there's more of a specific special thing and the colors get more like fancy metal, it means they're higher rank. You know that.
Yeah.
And you can kind of gauge that they're the same units, but Henny's able to confirm. So there's the elites. After that, you see that there's a bunch of soldiers without any armbands, but with the Vencrim colors with a black bar on either side. You know that these are the Blackguard. They're basically like the SEAL Team 6 that this kingdom employs.
Ooh.
Beyond that, you see that there's another band for the parade. There's batons, all kinds of stuff. From there, there's a number of military units who go by. They are in something which you've never seen before, but which you know to be very common here, which is... It's kind of like how fighters will do like kata and stuff, but it's done in parade. It's like a rolling advance of fighting forms. There's basically a group of tundra nomads, a group of Fortlanders, and a group of long haulers.
I was always bad at that. Whenever we did the tumble, I would get caught on my shell.
Yeah, it's not very inclusive.
No, very, very much not.
As it happens, you get to the shieldy bit at the end, which are the long haulers. They're known for their painted shields, which you, Elbjorn and Red, happen to have one. And here in their formation, amid sort of like breaking down the shields to show like fighting moves, they'll come back together, and it's almost like animation, like a couple of different frames of shields closing and rolling ranks.
I just realized we have the shield wall back. We have the face back.
Yeah.
We do.
It's beautiful.
I lean to Reggie and I say, you know, the artisans that paint those shield animations, they, you would not believe the tax breaks they get for doing this for these parades.
Well, that's kind of a shame, the tax breaks that they get, because they cost an arm and a leg. I had them do my shield once. Man, that was insane.
Also, I'm going to say for sake of retcon that Reggie came just because, like, I thought I had something more, but this is probably something you should be here for.
Yeah, I was going to do Reggie wanders around Hammerhold, but like I was going to say either he was going to do one of two things: wander around Hammerhold and people watch, or stalk Henny on her date.
Just be creepy. I actually totally forgot that Reggie hadn't come.
Yeah. I will say that he probably sulkingly came.
Yeah.
So, after the military units come a number of politicians and local military, like high-ranking personnel, like majors and that sort of thing. Here you recognize that a vast number of them are just people. It's only genuinely in this parade, amongst all of these high-ranking like nobility and all that stuff, maybe 3 of them are life drinkers, and that's it. And it's a group of like 30.
Okay.
After that unit walks by, there's another high-ranking military unit in tight formation. These guys aren't showing off. They're there for military purposes, which means next up is the big one. And you hear the band from behind the large float. Here you see being pulled by a number of horses, as well as being supported from the side by a number of it looks like these are actually bodybuilders on the side. You're not sure why. Even Henny, roll politics.
Fuck. That's only 15.
Only 15? You rolled a 5! Like, don't say only 15.
Oh,
I wanted
Jesus.
to do a big smart roll. I have big brain. I know lots of things.
Yeah, I think you proved it by having a bad roll and still getting a freaking 15.
Well, the lowest roll I could get is a 12. So it's actually pretty bad.
So your first impression is that this is kind of horny for a coronation. Like, it's a lot of bodybuilders, and I mean, they're like Lupus and Domesticus and Vulpe, so they're not oiled up or anything. But even then, like, but it's then that sort of the reality of it starts to sink in, and this isn't something that's happened before. This is almost like a fetishization, and this is something that, you know, it doesn't date back to the previous war, but to like millennia ago. It was the sort of things that were spoken about by human supremacists, talking about like perfect bodies and flawless form type of thing. And as it happens, you see two life drinkers that you recognize, the king and the prince. This would be when you're paying the most attention, so for a brief moment, everybody give me a check.
What kind of check?
You only have one chance. Pick.
Still gonna roll military tactics.
Well, you know I gotta roll sleuth.
And I take it you're going for understand?
Do an understand.
So many clicks.
Click,
so many clicks
clack.
in my ear.
Well, it's not like I could have rolled broad for this.
14 for a social understand.
You say that, but I would have allowed it. I would have given you information. What did you say it was?
14.
14. After that comment being pointed out by Henny, you guys were being very quiet and secretive earlier, but now there's so much cheering and roaring that you're able to talk to each other, like below the din of the crowd almost. You get the horny vibes. This is definitely weirdly horny for the float to have all these muscular people, but this is definitely something about showing off bodies. In particular, you note that it's arranged like Lupus Domesticus Vulpe from front to back. They're all in order, and they're all arranged by size, which you figure is probably aesthetic, but yeah, this has weird undertones.
22 military tactics.
22 military tactics.
Ooh,
I rolled really well.
nice.
Here you scan, and you see that all of the snipers are armed. They have their weapons loaded. You see that all of the weapons are loose in their scabbards. There's a little glint of metal that shows like the weapon is there, like in the sheath, but it's ready to be drawn at any moment. A number of the guards, you notice tactically, are using polearms like halberds and stuff around the king and stuff, because nobody's going to look twice at the fact that they are holding a weapon at the ready.
Mm-hmm.
You see in particular also that at the rear of the military formation, they're like the one in front of the parade, there's a line of people turning around and facing backwards towards the king. Well, king and future king.
Interesting.
The group in back is all facing towards the float because they're behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, that's when something dawns on you. You look around. All of the guards in the line are there, but at the back of the group, there's a bunch of people in plain clothes with weapons, whose weapons are also unsheathed. And for a brief moment, as the parade float goes by, they all make quick eye contact with each other, and a few make eye contact with the guards by the line, with like hands on their weapons. And then as the float goes by, they let go. And as the float's gone, they just wander back off into the crowd.
There's some discontent here.
No. What your militactics roll tells you is that those people are working with the king.
Ah, gotcha.
Ooh.
Hey, now is not time to not be paranoid.
I'm pretty good at that. I got a 25 in sleuthing. I'm trying to pick up on connections, clues.
All right. So now you're watching little things going on. Here you're parsing the information that you were given and the information that you gleaned yourself. Yep. Now that you're reflecting on it, this is definitely a weirdly horny float. And it's something about, now that you look at it, everything here has the same undertone. It was obvious with the bodybuilders in mostly naked form, like pushing with the horses. But now you notice it's the same. All the armor is flawlessly polished and all the stuff you would expect for a coronation. But you know what coronations look like. You know what this, like, lineage's coronations have looked like for years. And this one is deeply obsessed with aesthetic purpose. Which is an interesting contradiction to the fact that they have a lot of plainclothes guards, which you expected some, but it seems like they have a lot of people who are ready and willing to take on that role.
That is bizarre.
Now that a number of different floats have gone by, the band that was behind the military unit, a number of other military units, you see that now the guards themselves have sort of formed up behind in a big group as they take down the barricades, and they seem to be rallying people into almost like a march behind the float to all follow up to the coronation. None of these people are getting in, but it's in the spirit of things. That being said, if you want to slip away quietly, now's the time, and it wouldn't be socially inappropriate. A lot of people slip away now.
Yeah, I think we might want to get going.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep.
All right. I'm not changing the lights. You see the king's float coming up towards you. You guys are scanning the crowd. You don't see any of the 15 people that you were supposed to be watching out for. They must be somewhere else. You're pretty close up to the coronation and really close to like the throne room itself. So if they were going to try something, it's here, but you don't see them.
Well, they're not here, so...
It's at this point that all of you notice something really conspicuous in this very specific context. Dreadnought looks at the king right as the king looks at Dreadnought, and both of them nod in unison. The king's son turns around. The king whispers something. The king's son looks back and nods to Dreadnought too.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, we know they have a wagon, and there's only a few places that they can actually park that wagon in this town, so we should go double back and see if we can find the wagon.
to move now. Dreadnought just starts walking, and he walks counter to the current of people following the float.
Okay.
They're here.
They're here. Okay,
All right.
All right.
let's go.
Okay. Everybody make a grace, brawn, or delicate roll, depending on how you're forcing your way through the crowd. As your alts.
As my alts. Okay.
9 plus 6, 15. 15 for grace.
All right.
And I'm keeping a subtle hand on my knife.
I'm gonna do 8 for brawn.
All right.
That's 10. 10 for delicate.
All right. You're physically pushing people out of the way, and you hear insults being hurled behind you, like, "Hey, fuck you!" But you're between people too quickly. What did you say you rolled?
10 delicate.
Okay, 10 delicate. You're a rat folk, so you're not tiny or anything, but still you're good at maneuvering. You sort of just find little gaps where people happen to be moving apart, and you swim with the current.
Actually, can I just climb above the crowd? There's nooks and crannies on these houses. Would it be faster to just
Absolutely
hop up and slunk that way? That's what I'm doing. I'm getting out of the throng of people.
What was your grace roll? Because that
15.
would have been the same. Okay, so with 15, you duck away into an alley. You pause for a quarter second. You plan your line. You go garbage can, windowsill, kick off the other window, and grab onto a ledge. From there, you shimmy up, and you end up on the ramparts. This is Hammerhold, so it's the big military thing. So you're on another street that's like this. It got you back a ways, but you very quickly catch up. Okay. You guys, meaning the protagonist party, are trying to make your way out of town. You know that your allies are waiting to take you out, but now the streets are going to thin as people go inside. You're still near the main street. Is there anything else you need to do while you're in town?
I don't think so.
No, I think we're good. I mean, with the less people, it's a little harder to stay inconspicuous. Would I know any shortcuts? Like, I've lived here my whole life. What would I have to roll to say, hey, there's a...
You don't. From here, the best way out of the city is to take this route and that one, and then you want to go through the little alley, and because it's the coronation and not any other event, you know that this street's going to be busy and this one won't, and within seconds you've disappeared into the city.
All right.
It's not like you guys know you're trying to escape, but you do it very successfully.
Well, I've gotten some fucking weird vibes. This isn't the sort of behavior that the king would do if he was secure in his position. It's almost as though he's worried about something. Like, they're gearing up. Something's changed.
Yeah.
I don't think that bodes well. It almost seems like he's afraid and he's trying to build up this whole...
I was getting some weird aesthetic vibes, for sure.
The military is prepared. They were prepared for anything. They expected us to do something there.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. They were ready for anything.
I thought we'd be a little more... Well, a little more unexpected. You know, we'd have a little bit of an element of surprise when we not broke in, but when we were sulking about. But no, it's almost as if they were looking for something to happen.
Yeah, they were really prepared.
As you're almost at the gates, you feel someone bump into you, a human. You hear, "Sorry, Henny," and they're gone. You didn't hear it, but you heard it too.
Let's go now.
Yep. Getting out of here.
All right.
And I hate to... But they didn't even notice my new hat.
We quicken our pace.
All right.
Yep.
You guys being not being beast folk, but both of you guys have sensitive hearing. So you hear, like, whoever it was that just bumped into you just realized that they fucked up and they're turning around to try and catch up to you. You guys luckily have the advantage, and there's one more alley, and then you're out the gates, and the rest of your allies are getting ready to beat feet, and you basically give them the look of, like, fast.
Mm-hmm.
For too long, whips are cracked, reins are thrown, and you clatter onto the road. As you turn back, you see that there's a party that's gathered, but they're way too far to catch up to you. They don't even have their horses. You recognize them, though.
Are they the... Do we recognize them as the people? Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Oh,
I'm very disappointed seeing Milton in there.
That's the guy that took your wallet.
Yeah, Henny's... Like, we're kind of in a wagon, right?
Yeah.
Henny's going to go talk to Trunk, because that was horrifying, seeing that Garth is still after us. I'm going to go maybe have a bit of a breakdown with Trunk.
Yeah, he's on his horse, so you sort of, like, move back towards him, but then he moves up ahead of you. What's wrong? What happened?
Nothing. Well, that's not true at all. So it turns out I was kind of right, and Garth, the guy who has my wallet, is actually still after us and could 100% scry on us with that wallet.
Okay. He, like, for a second, he looks at Bea, and before he can ask, like, did someone else see this? Bea looks and goes, yeah. There's, like, a look of shock that comes over his face, and he looks at you and just goes, okay. We know for sure Garth is after us. Other people saw.
Yeah, we know that for sure.
He had your wallet.
Yes.
We do not know that he used magic or that he's using it to scry, but it is true that he could. Okay?
Yes. These things are... Yes.
This isn't good, but we're on the same page.
Okay.
Let me put some words up on you.
Yes, I think that would be a really good idea.
So that people can't be scrying.
Yeah. No, we'll
anti-scry words.
Yeah.
We'll put up words, and I mean that's all we can really do is put up words. And
13.
Whew. Well, I think the good thing is we know. Knowledge is power, and we'll just be vigilant with words and vigilant with. I think we got a little bit carefree there for a second.
It's at this point that, of all people to turn back towards you, Rollins looks you dead in the eye and goes, "No, this is our fight. We didn't get carefree. We did our best, and this is what we're fighting."
Mm-hmm.
It's at this point that he looks towards, within earshot is Elmira, because she followed up with Trunk. And he looks at her and he nods and he goes, "Are you familiar with the word of Skrit?"
I can't say that I'm super familiar.
There's this idea when you're... And then Elmira jumps in and goes, "Run aground. It's this idea that, like, sometimes you're just fucked way more than people expect you to be fucked. But when you're... And then Rollins kicks in. You recognize this instantly. Like, they have a religious connection."
Sure.
And he goes, "Skrit defends those who cannot defend themselves by giving them tools that others lack. When you are run aground, you are strongest because you must use the resources others know not exist." "Know not?" And at that point, when he says "know not," you, Elmira, just look at him and go, like, "What? Let's not get into any sectarian conflict right now. We do not have the time. Anyways, I think we'll run aground. But when we run aground, we are strongest." And then Rollins kicks in and goes, "Because we have the tools that they know not." And then he sort of like grimaces and goes, "Or have tools that they do not know." At that point, you hear Elmira just sort of like chuckle a little bit.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I feel like a more succinct version would just be,
we have her brain. It points at and he's
no, that's sort of a lot more self-importance. I was just gonna say, never pick a fight with someone who has nothing left to lose. Like, and then I look at Bea and go, "Oh no," in the back of my brain. Just the tiniest little twinge of, "Oh no."
Roll understand.
8.
So does she.
Oh.
And that's going to be the session. We'll see you guys in a week or so. Due to scheduling conflicts, we're moving to Thursdays.
Yes, it's my fault. I'm sorry.
Wednesday has been canceled.
Wednesday has been canceled.
Due to a scheduling error.
That's pretty good.
Wednesday has been canceled due to tweets from 2014.
Yes. Yeah, no. Should not have made that joke about the cat.
So normally we do start streaming on the latter half of 7. This time we started a little 8, because that's how it goes. We're not a very formal gig here.
And we're trying to get lighting working.
Yeah, we're trying to be a formal gig. If you guys want to catch more, we are live at twitch.tv/Mr. Croden. If you want to find the episodes that have already been uploaded, there's quite a few. They're at youtube.com/Mr. Croden. A functional version of the rules is at bloodwine.fandom.com. They aren't fully up to date with what we're using now because we're closer to the final product, but the rules work as written, and they're almost the final game. Anything you want to announce?
Not really. I'm happy to be back on with streaming again.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'll be streaming tomorrow. I don't know. If you couldn't tell this entire time,
Mm-hmm.
I have a cold. I feel like crap. We'll see how I feel tomorrow, if I feel like streaming at all. But if not, I'll be back on Monday with some more Jade Empire. And that's always fun. Because
that game is interesting.
it's very interesting.
So is the entire empire just jade?
Yes. Everything is made of jade. No, it's the Chinese Jade Empire, which is a period of time in Chinese history. And it's very mythological. You end up punching gods. The combat is actually surprisingly fluid.
I would know that style anywhere. It's 1,000 cuts.
Gee. That is literally a line I use. Stop using my own lines against me.
Well, on that note, we'll see you guys in the future.
Bye,
Peace out.
everybody.